in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we got the approval of the January 23rd Finance Committee meetings. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll go to the January 2014 financial reports. I guess we go to Lisa.
Thank you. Okay. The information we have today is through the end of January, which is really a month behind than we would like to do, but we just got through with February and April yesterday. So since these got mailed out ahead of time, it's in January. The board meeting is a week early this month, so that's not to be back on schedule. And I think Larry, you're probably the new member, even though you participated, it seems like the last couple of months. So if I'm saying something that doesn't make sense, you don't understand it, just please let me know. At the end of January, we had cash of $53.3 million. And that's up about $7.9 million from the end of December. And on the surface, that really sounds and is a lot of money, but that's about 83 days of service experience, so a little over 2 months of operating cash. So again, when you say 53 million, it's like, wow. But again, it's about 2 months of operations. Our Medicaid risk reserve in January, we added $480,000 to that, so it's a little over $5 million in January. The accounts receivables, $4.3 million, and again, that's primarily from DMH, that's down about $2.7 million. They called up a month or so later. So our total assets at the end of January were $67.1 million. Our accounts payables at the end of January were $6.7 million. The estimated claims for services that have been provided but not yet billed to smoking for state services were $1.8 million, and for Medicaid, $16.7 million. And that's up a little bit. I think that's up about $1.6 million, the estimate from the prior month. There's probably a number of reasons for that, but it's up to $16.7 million. So our total liabilities at the end of January were $27.8 million. Fund balance from the prior year still around 4%, and our overall fund balance is about 13%, including all the restrictions and commitments when you exclude the current year. So again, we're about 13%, including the current year, and 8.5% if you exclude the current year. So if there aren't any questions on that, we can go to the next report. The next report is the balance sheet on the basis we have to account for DMA. Basically, this just splits out the balance sheet accounts between Medicaid and other funding sources. So if you try to reconcile some of the accounts between the reports, they won't balance with the different accounting methods that we use to produce these reports. The one that says full accrual, that's the one that we actually submit to the so you're just looking at the Medicaid column, Medicaid cash is $37.2 million, and the Medicaid receivable is a little over $1 million. Part of that receivable is due to the DMA, and part of that is due to the Western Finance for that, and part of Smoking Sanitation for Western. They also have to pay part of Western Sanitation, Smoking, so we're just tracking all this as we go. And we need settlement decisions with Western Finance. Really not too much else to point out on the balance sheet. It's much different again. The other ones are typically covered in this area. Okay. I'm going to go to the next couple of financial reports. The analysis of revenue and expenditures, which is the one that's printed on dollar. And this is the one that shows our actual revenues and expenditures from July 1st through January 31st. This doesn't have any budgeted numbers, it has our actual numbers. The service revenue for Medicaid, and I'm going to get the block that's on the left, it says Medicaid. Our total service revenue for Medicaid for 7 months is a little over $109 million. Right now, we've got close to 100,000 eligibles in the Medicaid population. It varies each month based on how many ads drop off or retroactive. It's actually somewhere between 148 and 150,000 enrollees. Service expense for Medicaid service, and this includes what we paid and what we're projecting that's been provided but not yet billed to us. Because if you don't match those numbers up, you're way overstate your surplus. So this includes what we paid and what we estimate has already been provided to the community. That service expense is $101.68 million. So the service expense is all at 93%. That's where we can be running. We look at it by the Medicaid categories and Medicaid division. That's right at 93%, and Medicaid C is really close to 99%. And then Medicaid D is down to 30%. Medicaid administrative revenue, we have $15.4 million for the 7 months. We expended 78% of that. Part of the reason that's under, we have a lot of positions that have been on hold. We're now trying to fill those positions. We did that last year with some positions on hold. So there are also some one-time capital needs that have been incurred with, so that percentage will continue to go up. Net operating surplus in Medicaid is $3.7 million, or 8.6% of the loan. On the state and federal side, and the other lines of business, just on the state and federal, our revenue through 7 months is $25 million. Our expense is $21.9 million. The year-to-date, we have about $3 million surplus. On the administrative revenue, it's $2.6 million. Our expense is $2.6 million, so there's a $13,000 surplus on the state federal tax. Overall, counting all of our service revenues, on the far right column there, we're $135.8 million. We utilized $125.8 million, and overall that is still 93%. So we have a 70% surplus sitting in there on the side. And on the administrative dollars, we utilize 81%, $14.6 million, so we have 93% surplus. So our overall net operating surplus right now is 8%, 13.5%. Any questions on revenue expenses or anything that needs further explanation? We'll go to the last financial report. We usually get a motion to accept the financial report. So we'll under this agenda item. We need to rush now after this next. After the next one. I guess I was just going to say it before I forget this.
Okay.
The Smith report that says Smoky Mountain Center Medicaid budget action. This one is actually comparing our expense to our budget. The other report that we just went over compared our revenue to our expense, so that's the main difference in those. This one shows the breakdown of the service categories compared to what we budgeted. So if you look at the column that says first column was July through January paid. It's actually how much money we paid to providers. So let's just take that service through those 7 months we paid we had an adjustment in the IDNR at year end because we adjusted every month. So there was an adjustment and then we added back the column that says January 2014 IDNR. So for all services that have been provided, like that will to Smoky through January, and that we estimate $664,000. So when you add that first and first column together and subtract out the adjustment, total July to January that the investment is expired in 342 per hour. And I'm just trying to go over that so you understand how the spreadsheets come out. So I'm not going to go over everything of those, but just give you an idea of what it is. So if we just look at the total Medicaid bill, you can see it's $59.6 million, and that's the first kind of bluish gray line. The total we estimate, including the IBNR, is $66.8 million. And our budget was projected at 71, so about $4.5 million for the projected budget. The projected budget at the beginning of the year. So innovation services, you can see around $213,000. So probably when you calculate that percentage, it's like 98%. And the services that are kind of shaded in the orange color, those are the ones that are over budget based on how much you're projected to utilize the dollars. Now that we've really gotten people want to make sure as an agency projecting out utilization, how we're trying to shape the system. We'll talk today when we start July 1st, we're going to show our budget based on how we try to spend money, not on how the rate setting where it's set. Because we've changed kind of some of the service models and tried to shape the service, increasing that, increasing PRTF. So we're going to start doing a projection based on how our clinical staff is. And that's going to start. So that's really the last financial report that's on the report.
I have a motion to accept the financial report.
So moved. Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This, we have the financial dashboards next.
Yes, and I keep forgetting to ask back to number these, so they sometimes get out of order, so I'll make sure I tell you what I'm trying to cover. And they have their own orders. The first one I'm going to talk about says Smoky Mountain Center expense ratios. And it's the medical expense ratio for Medicaid funded services. Those are the three lines at the top. What this graph depicts is the percentage of our revenue that's being used for service and where we are. So you can see January 14, we're around somewhere a little below 94%. It's around 93%. So again, compared to the revenue we thought we'd utilize about 103% of revenue for service. That red line is where we don't want to go under. And we also don't want to go over the blue line, because if we go over the blue line, that means we're spending more than we have. So we're within a very good acceptable range of utilizing. At the bottom is the state and federal funding services. You can see right now, we're a little bit below the red line, and we're addressing that issue because we don't want to think about that much. We're looking at that utilization of those dollars. What's on the back, the local funded services, that was really kind of the one that's leading the course of things like the legal fees and other things. We have fund balance appropriates, it looks like the rails, and it's not very supportive, it's the financial fund balance. And then on the administrative expense ratio, as I reported out from the revenue expense analysis, we are around some percent right now, 79%, which shows that.
Speak up a little bit.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
That's it. Go.
I was just going to do 38.
about 70 songs. You want me to sing a couple? Okay, is that better? Can you hear me? Is it even on?
Press the button.
Oh, thank you.
How's that?
You're on. You're on.
All right, when I get too loud, let me know. I have a new voice today, too. Okay. We go to the next one that says Medicaid current ratio. I think that was the next one, but it wasn't. I will order and apologize for it. It says Medicaid current ratio. The blue line is what it's measuring our current assets to our current liabilities. And for Medicaid, we need to be over 1 to 1. I think we've talked about it in here before, Senate Bill 208, that's being measured, and if you have 3 consecutive months where you're under 1, that is reason that your contract with DNA can be terminated, and it's one of the measures that DNA looks at, and others across the state. So at the end of January, we were at 1.72, well above the 1.1. The ratio at the bottom is our total current ratio, and that's measuring our total current assets to our total current liabilities, agency-wide, not just Medicaid. We strive to have a 2 to 1, even though we have the benchmark on there to be at 1. And at the end of January, we were at 2.19. One of the things that will change this is once we complete the last Western Highlands fiscal audit, which is supposed to start next week, we will transfer in all the balance sheet amounts from Western Highlands, and that will impact this current ratio. I actually think it's going to go up, but until that's said and done, and we've done the calculation, I'm not sure. But that will impact it, and their audit should be finished by the end of May, so it'll probably either be in the May records or June financial records that we will reflect Western, and we'll make sure we point that out when we do. The next graph is the one that says year-to-date budget versus year-to-date actual, and at the top it says Smoky Mountain Center Medicaid pay claims. This really shows the Medicaid pay claims by category of service, because we crosswalk all the expense into one of 14 categories. The blue bar shows the budget, and the reddish burgundy bar shows what we've actually expended. So let's just take outpatient as an example. Our budget is about $9.2 million, and we're slightly under. We look like we're about $9 million, so we're under budget. You can look and see pretty quickly which are over or under budget. If the red line is exceeding the blue line, we're trending over. So on the third category over, BHLT, which is Behavioral Health Long-Term Residential, that's a category of service where we're going over what Mercer projected. Based on what I was explaining earlier, we anticipate going over this because of movement of children from PRTF into behavioral health long-term. So we expect that internally, and that's why starting July, we will use our clinical budget to compare to and not the Mercer budget. We compare the clinical budget now internally, we just don't present it at the board meetings.
Did I hear you say children, or that's not adults, or did I misunderstand?
The behavioral health long-term residential is all children. Yes. Just to give you an idea of some of these categories of service, outpatient, currently we average serving around 10,000 individuals a month in outpatient service. Behavioral health long-term residential, just as another example, we average about 390. So all the categories are different, and they have different services that get expensed to those categories. So if you're interested at some future meeting, I could give you more detailed information about numbers served or whatever. I think we're going to do that somewhere at other committees.
Clarifying on that already.
Okay. Also, just looking at this, and this is on the Medicaid paid claims, a month, right now, we average paying around 100, well, processing around 160,000 claims. Usually about 140,000 of those are approved and paid in any given month. So our claims volume is quite high. It's around 16 to 17 million, I think, in Medicaid a month. I'm going to move on to the next graph, which is the one that says Smoky Mountain Center service revenue and expense by aid category. We have 6 Medicaid eligibility categories. There's a rate set for each one of these, so if you're an individual that qualifies in the AFDC category, for example, there's one rate that Smoky gets paid for that category. So what this bar graph shows is how much revenue we have, which is the blue bar, and of that revenue, how much has been expended for service. And again, this is through January. For our eligibles, again, we have around 150 or so right now, and the majority are in the AFDC category. There's around 100,000 in that category alone. Foster children, which is on next to the right, there are only a little over 3,000 eligibles that fall in that category. Are there any questions on that one? Okay, we'll move to the next one, which is our revenue budget versus actual. This is by all our different funding streams. On the far right, our total revenue is slightly under the budget year to date. You can see our budget's $158 million. Our revenue is $156.5 million. You can quickly see our largest category of revenue is in Medicaid, where our budget is $108.5 million through January. We've received $109 million, which means we have been paid for more eligibles than we originally projected at the beginning of the year. On the back of that page, it breaks down the Medicaid service revenue by the 4 categories of Medicaid B, Medicaid C, which is innovations, and Medicaid B3. So you can see in the Medicaid funding, the majority of it is utilized for Medicaid B services. Right now, that's $71.6 million. I'm going to keep going unless y'all have a question on the next, which is a pie chart of our service expense by category of aid. This shows the percentage of expense by the 6 categories we just talked about. Innovations makes up 36% of the service expense, and the blind and disabled category is 28%. And on the last graph, it's the Medicaid service by the service category. Innovation services are 34%, and ICFMR is 22%. And I guess the next largest is the outpatient at 9%. And there are literally hundreds of services that cross to these different categories, but that's the breakdown of the category. Are there any comments or questions about the graphs? Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Lisa? No, I just Medicaid three-year rates, is that?
Yes, and this is just to give an update on where we are right now and working with DMA and Mercer to set our rates for Medicaid for what they call 3-year rates, because starting July 1st, Smoky starts at the beginning of their 3rd year under labor, which I say that's gone pretty fast, but anyway, we're getting ready to start it, hasn't it? I mean, getting ready to start our 3rd year, so We've had a couple of meetings in Raleigh, and the way they approach it is DMA, DMH, and Mercer, who is the national consultant hired by DMA to do all the studies and the trends and help set the rates for what will be paid starting July 1st for each Medicaid member. And we met with them, I believe it was back in January, and provided a lot of information to help what we hope is positively impact their rates, because we try to explain the ruralness of the areas we cover, increasing care coordination, different things that we think impact the rates, different trends that we see. So we provided that information. They came back, they made us a rate offer. We went down there a couple of weeks ago, they presented it. We felt like a couple of areas weren't sufficiently funded, so I think we had 2 days to provide them additional information, which we've done, and now we're waiting to hear back on what our rate will be for next year. I think, just to kind of put it in perspective, Western Highlands rate had been somewhere around $178, $175. This is just the blended overall rate. Smoky's rate is around $140, and the initial rate offer that they gave us was, I think, $155 something. So it seems to be sufficient on the surface, but there were a couple of areas in there that we felt like by category service wasn't adequately funded. So we're making our best attempt to provide information back to see if we can have any bearing on that rate. Our admin was also going to be cut in total somewhere around, I think it was around $2.5 million. I think there's some changes we can make to live within that, but we've also tried to provide information to impact that rate also. We should have it in the next couple of weeks, and then whatever it is, obviously we've got to live within once they set it, and we will come up with a budget with integrity that will tie back to the numbers.
On the admin fund, $2.5 million, do you have any idea what percentage that is? I mean, I know you can't give an exact figure.
The percentage for the admin,
What they're cutting?
it's kind of hard to factor it that way, because what they do is they increase the number of eligibles, and your admin gets paid as a total dollar amount on the total. But it seems like the admin percentage they have in there is something like 11.5 or 12%, I think. I could probably go back to one of the original rate sheets and see what it was.
That's okay.
But I think it's a small percentage, but then when you apply it to the overall population, it ended up being a couple $1 million. Actually, 2.4 million, I think is what it is. So before the next board meeting, we should have the rate back and have some better numbers to share on what it is.
Anyone have any questions? Next, we've got the hiring of the CFO.
Okay, this next one, I think all of y'all probably know I've been working on trying to have a transition plan for the last couple of years, because I would like to retire at the end of this calendar year. And one of the things we decided to do to make sure we could get somebody recruited, because we were having kind of a hard time really recruiting, I guess, who we wanted to recruit. So we ended up using a headhunter, and I really think it may have been the first application from them that we picked to interview. And we actually, this guy flew down, he's from Peoria, Illinois. He came down. We had a phone, Christina and I did, and then he came down. I guess it was week before last, Christina, it seems like, when he came down. It was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, and we have selected a gentleman that, his name is Fred Nearday, and he's going to start on April 14th, and I'm still going to stay through the end of November or December or whatever, but it's going to be great, because it's going to give us time to have this transition. Yeah. It's going to give time to do this transition and have time to train him. And this guy comes with a wealth of knowledge. I wish I was a lot younger and could say and work with him, but I can't. But he's a CPA, even though he hasn't practiced public accounting, so he has a certificate, not a license. Okay? In addition to that, he's a licensed clinical social worker. You just don't usually get that combination. We don't think alike.
We don't think alike, but we get along great.
Yes, but we don't usually think alike. He has been a CEO of the company, a COO, and a CFO. And in addition to that, he worked for 5 years as the CFO for the state of Illinois in their Department of Behavioral Health. So he's got governmental accounting experience. He's been a CFO. He's used to this chaotic, unstable environment. We get requests, really like today that they gotta have tomorrow. Some people really can't deal with that. And I think he is so capable. He's been in this world. He's got just great experience. And one of the main things he brings is the provider experience. He can relate to providers. I think he's going to be great. I'm really excited about working with him. And honestly, I wish I could work more with him, not just this short time period. But I just want to let y'all know that because we've been talking about it, and a lot of people are going, well, what's happened to Lisa? Where. So just wanted to inform y'all, and he should be here by the next board meeting, and you would be able to meet him at the next board meeting.
Could you spell that last name?
It's Nirde with a little, call it what, or whatever it is over the E. It's Nirde. Yes. And he's really just a delightful person. Did you find him just delightful, Christina? I mean, very articulate, just personable. Yeah.
And it didn't take us very long to think we had known this gentleman for quite some time. Just really a genuine good person, it really felt like. He does come with a wealth of experience. Even though he's not in North Carolina, he understands. He's just working in really big systems. He understands how money works, the managed care piece, and Medicaid. So, you always have to learn the North Carolina way. I think that one of the gifts we're trying to give Lisa is, I think it's a big changing of the guard for Smokey O'Brien. The next time Lisa does this report, it'll be the first time, I guess, in how many years, Lisa, that somebody has done this under the meeting properly. This will be historical to have Fred. But I think we really wanted to give Lisa the comfort to have somebody here for a length of time. This is a very, very complicated system. He will still be learning whatever day we're all in denial or whatever day she leaves. But we think we can put somebody really good in front of you. We're very excited.
And there are, I tell them there are a lot of good staff under me, and I get a lot of credit for things that other staff do, so we won't miss a beat. And I think if we don't, that'll say we've been successful doing it, and that's what I do.
You're going to be very good, like we all are. You help us understand so much more than give yourself credit, so we really appreciate all you do for us.
Thank you.
I'm so self-sure. I'm very familiar. I do it all the time, so stop it.
Yeah, no, I feel like I've done a good job, and I've told you before when I don't, I know I haven't. Nobody has to really tell me because I probably am harder on myself than Brian would ever be, but there are a lot of great staff behind me that do this, and it's been great. Still got a few months, so we'll see what impact I can make here. I just want to, and I do think that's a sign of being successful. It's when nothing misses a beat when you walk out, because I think it says you've trained somebody.
That's good. Anything else?
That's it.
There's no budget amendments or anything?
No, not today. Next month there will be a few, but not today.
Okay, we'll have a motion to adjourn.
Great. Thank you.
So moved. Second.
Thank you all.